Understanding the concept of Madmind is oftentimes a challenging task for a new member, but I will try to explain it as simply as possible. For the sake of the explanation, I will assume that you already understand that motivation for any action of an entity capable of doing things and capable of perception is pleasure. Now, having said that, let's begin. The meaning behind the concept of mad mind is a process of transformation of a creative impulse into something that can exist in physical reality. Therefore, the four parts of the star, the four elements, are of interest to us. Soil or earth, concept of uncompromising taking, the desire to receive pleasure without giving anything in return. Air, the desire of barter, the desire of deserving or exchanging, the desire to give in order to receive a planned specific result. Fire stands for an honest sacrifice, a desire to perform an action and to enjoy the process, or to make a change which cannot produce a harvestable result, but observation of the result brings the actor an aesthetic pleasure. Do not allow yourself to be deceived into believing that fire is selfless. A good example of behavior in fire is making gifts. The very fact of gifting makes them feel good about themselves. We might imagine many more examples, but let's move on. Water, it nurtures a change. It is a metaphor for contribution, a desire of a subject to support an actor who catalyzes a change that can be convincing someone into doing something, grooming someone into a position or into a role, seducing, suggesting ideas, and many more. Now, what does make them maniac and demented exactly? The oversimplified definitions of mania and dementia are mania, pleasure of mind, and dementia, pleasure of flesh. Now let us be correct and acknowledge that all pleasure is an illusion created by neurons, so everything is felt by the flesh. But what we understand as demented pleasure is such one that we can comprehend, understand immediately. Our bodies receive a stimulation and react to it with pleasure without initiation of any complex analysis of the data. Meanwhile, mania is such pleasure which requires comprehension. For example, looking at an oil painting is gazing at a powdered rock mineral mixed with oil. There is no need to comprehend consumption of sugar in order to feel pleasure. There is no need to comprehend satisfaction of hunger. But there is a need to comprehend what is being observed in order to receive pleasure. A need to comprehend the connection between actions in their consequences. The need to compare the received sensoric data with the stored experiences. Only through the comparison there is a possibility of pleasure, and such pleasure is manic. Receiving without or with minimal effort and harvesting what has been sown is intuitive, while acting without any gain or contributing to somebody else's success is counterintuitive. As these four elements are explained, the rest will be a piece of cake. The top one is a creative impulse, an urge to action. The second stage is the four elements. The impulse goes to either of them, is influenced by them, and turns into a specific thought form. Flash is the final element. The non existent creative impulse was transformed into a thought form and now is about to manifest into reality by the deeds of the meat of the tendons, and this is what the mad mind is. The components through which a creative impulse goes through, being transformed from something that doesn't exist into a semi real idea and then appearing into the physical reality as a creation, an act, or a process.